You know, when it comes to comedians, I'm usually someone who's a little more lax on being too politically correct. Like the Tony Award-winning Broadway musical Avenue Q says, everyone's a little bit racist sometimes. Doesn't mean we go around committing hate crimes. Yes, as painful as it is for me to admit, the tiny primordial part of my brain does make me sometimes go, is this Jungkook? No, wait, no, this is Jungkook. Okay, I thought the last one was No, that's San from ATEEZ. I know, San from ATEEZ. But when it does come to comedy, and especially stand-up, there are ways to tastefully crack jokes at specific groups of people. For the sake of exercise and for the sake of not canceling myself, take the Chinese, for example. You can make a joke that we're all money obsessed. I mean, during New Year's, we say 新年快乐,恭喜发财, which means Happy New Year's, I hope you get fucking rich. Or you can address the fact that Chinese tourists are some of the worst tourists that you can have. Are you a lobster at an all-you-can-eat buffet? You better watch your back, because I'm coming for you. Or maybe even...
Or they'll have a sign, no cooking in the rooms. That's for Chinese people. They'll bring a hot plate to a comfort inn. They will. Well, what? I want to cook a broccoli. I'm going to boil some water. And then I'm gonna steam a broccoli.
So speaking of taste and not being able to smell, today we're covering a comedian that couldn't taste the shit on the boot that he's licking if he tried. Welcome back to the light side of the internet, my little sunrays. This is Ben Bankas, and he wants you to know that he's definitely not racist.
Look, I'm not racist. You know what I'm talking. They're immigrants. You know, you look at them, you're like, I don't know what they are, but there's some.
Super not racist.
See, I'm not racist.
And then the woman just started speaking at him, like in her language. She was just like,
Absolutely 100% not racist.
Like, this is the thing is, I'm not racist.
Oh, hello, it's a human monkey animal harbor. Trying to have a net. I'm going to street.
Ben Bankas is a far-right comedian that has popped up onto my Reddit feed like one too many times. And by that, I mean like one time. He's a rising star within alt-right circles, which after saying that is actually not that impressive because their top superstar is a geriatric dementia patient that they deemed fit to give our country's nuclear launch codes to. Oh my God, what timeline are we in? But despite that, he's managed to amass over 696,000 followers. Battle stations, everyone. Operation Bigger Than Ben has commenced. Hit that subscribe button immediately. We are at DEFCON 1, people. Get clicking.
No, I had another Mexican Uber. She was nice. She spoke English, so I let her stay. But
look, I'm not gonna say this is the most racist thing I've ever seen, because I did attend a predominantly white middle school during the golden age of Xbox Live. But this does come close.
Even Somalians, they're not black. Like, they're black, but they're not, you know. Like, when an American black guy sees a Somalian, he's like, that's a weird-ass headshot. God damn. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Somalians, I mean, they are similar to blacks. They do steal, but they...
Yeah, black people steal. That's so funny, Ben. Like, he's one to talk about theft. He stole that joke from my 7th grade classmate, Jake. Is this a standard of jokes that we're gonna be seeing today? Is this what conservative comedy is? Are there people that actually find this stuff funny? And I'm not saying that because, you know, it's offensive or anything. Yeah, it's offensive, but like, it's kind of a stretch to even call this a joke. Like, where is the punchline here? I don't claim to be a comedian or a comic or even someone who's like funny. I have a very specific niche of humor, and it happens to be perfectly tailored for people with just the right combination of TISM and ADHD. ADHD, if you will, or as I like to call it, Goldie HD. The real ones out there are cracking up right now. But I have been hyper fixated on comedy for long enough to understand that a joke does need to have a punchline. Case in point.
Now for a moment of silence for Renee Good. Really hope that dog's okay. And her pet. That's what you don't want when you're dealing with the police, your lesbian wife. Just, drive, baby, drive. Oh. Yeah, her last name was Good. That's what I said after they shot her in the face.
It just keeps going.
Renee Good. She's dead. They're gonna get shirts. I am Renee Good. I am a dumb lesbian.
I'm not even gonna address the super avoidable tragedy that was essentially the state-sanctioned execution of Renee Good. This is not a political video. Okay, that's kind of a lie, but I really did want to make this video more of a meta commentary on the comedy itself. Because, again, where's the fucking punchline? It's funny because lesbians? Is that the best punchline you could really come up with? Because if you really break down the jokes, that's all he's saying. He's not even saying lesbians are bad. He's just saying lesbians. And to the 3 Ben Bankas fans here, and I'm including Ben Bankas in that count because I know he's gonna be watching this for his podcast material, you're probably thinking, if he's so unfunny, why are people laughing? Brother, the same reason why Oakley's is still turning a profit. His audience is exclusively made up by middle-aged white men who all have the same Facebook profile picture. And I know these are all the same types of people who think all Chinese people look the same. Yeah, we do have a similarity. We have good hairlines that we don't have to hide with a fucking hat. This crowd is the same crowd that thinks that Kid Rock lip syncing and somehow still being incoherent is good entertainment. Do you really think I respect what they cheer for?
Why are all the leftists online who are celebrating the death, the political assassination of Charlie Kirk? They're celebrating. Why do they all look like that? But it's scary because it doesn't, you know, what are you supposed to do with these people? You know? Because it's like, they want to kill people, but you're not allowed to want to kill them.
I feel like I'm moving again with the amount of I'm having to unpack. So this is a common thing that a lot of conservatives use as a gotcha moment for liberals. They're always putting in our face, why are you celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk? The people celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk is a very, very, admittedly pretty vocal, small minority of liberals. Most people I know, and me included, didn't like what he was saying, but also agree that nobody deserves to have their life ended just because of what they think. So I want to make this clear for you guys. The death of Charlie Kirk is a tragedy that never should have happened. But goddamn, do I crack a smile whenever I see a Charlie Kirk meme. Oh wait, what? You're offended? What happened to the party that hates snowflakes? Can't take a little internet meme? Just because there are memes of something online doesn't mean we're celebrating that. 9/11 was a tragedy, but goddamn, don't I laugh every time there's an unexpected 9/11 joke. It's not like they hit the Pentagon. I have some very disturbing news to share.
They do steal, but a little more sophisticated. They had Tim Waltz at the head of it. And Ilhan Omar running defense. Ilhan Omar.
It's really hard to have material for commentary when the material that I'm commenting on has no material itself. The punchline here is Tim Waltz, Ilhan Omar.
9/11.
Whoa, sorry, I think I just played the same clip twice, my bad. And that's it? That's all you had for us? I came here to eat and I'm still hungry. Basically what I'm saying is, Ben, please stop getting your stand-up material from Twitter. Liberals, am I right? Obama. Look, all our president tweeted about this week is golf. Like, I don't have any materials right now. Can we just cut to the commercial break? This video is sponsored by Clover. Did you know that the percentage of Americans who are living paycheck to paycheck and the percentage of Americans who have the HSV-1 virus are actually pretty similar? It's 60%. That's a high percentage. Like a surprisingly high percentage. So if you happen to be in the 36% Americans who have both of these, I'm sorry. But if you happen to be in the 60% of Americans who are living paycheck to paycheck, Clover is here to help you. Clover is a financial app that is designed to give people smarter and faster financial help without any of the hidden fees and predatory practices that come from traditional payday loan sharks. And I hate sharks, except this one. This one's really cute. I honestly wish that I had an app like Clover when I needed it. Like, for example, when my bank account looked like this, or the time where I forgot about my annual phone bill, or maybe even when I got hit with a $550 utility bill. Why is it so freaking cold in California right now? Well, with Clover, you don't have to stress out, because Clover allows users to advance up to $400 before payday with zero interest, no credit checks, and no late fees. Ever. So if you're trying to avoid overdraft fees, pay late fees, or just get ahead on your finances, try out Clover today just for some peace of mind. Use my link in the description to download Clover today and access up to $400 just like that. I actually don't know how to snap that well. I just add in post. Thank you to Clover for sponsoring today, and let's get back to the video.
I don't want to be like fucking Bad Bunny. Hello, I am Bad Bunny. Ice out. I currently am not legally in America. This guy's about to do the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl. Why? The crazy thing is that they think the Democrats are like perfect opportunity to showcase our agenda when all the Republicans are watching TV. But what they don't realize is during the halftime show, we turn it off. Turn it off.
I'm gonna cut you some slack because you're Canadian, but Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican. Puerto Rico happens to be a US territory.
Knock knock. It's the United States.
Ergo, Bad Bunny is a US citizen. I thought this was obvious. I thought this might have been common knowledge. I don't know, maybe, is it me? Am I the problem? It's shit like this that makes me wonder, where are you getting your information from, bro? And that's when I thought of the Ordovician period. That's right, it's time for another ADHD tangent time. The Ordovician period happened approximately 485 to 442 million years ago. So this is oxygen. There wasn't much of it in the air during that period. And in this analogy, think of oxygen as misinformation. Because of the concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere, the first plants started to go onto land because photosynthesis, I think. I don't know, it's been a while since like 9th grade biology class. But as time went on, more and more plants started to sprout. More and more plant species began to grow and compete with each other and start filling the air with more oxygen through photosynthesis, thus leading to greater biodiversity within the plants and even more competition. See, it's a self-sustaining cycle. Now let's get back to the analogy. This is one of the earliest plant-based life forms to appear on land. This is not Ben Bankas. Ben Bankas is not the first plant to come onto land. He's not even the second, the third, or the 3 millionth plant to come onto the land. Ben Bankas is the fucking worm that crawled out of the water and began leaching the oxygen from the atmosphere and shitting everywhere so that plants could grow more. Ben Bankas is the product of an echo chamber that lasts so long unrefuted that it spawns something that only further perpetuates the echo chamber. I know that wasn't the cleanest analogy, but I have been watching a lot of Lindsay Nicole videos and I had to insert some Ordovician lore into this video.
Unless there's somebody fucking, why not Kid Rock? I want to see Kid Rock fucking shooting some Bud Lights or whatever the fuck. Some lights. That's what I want to see.
And back to the point of punchlines. I'm not even gonna touch the joke because A, I hope you all know me enough that I do not condone any type of comedy that is based in hatred and prejudice. And B, again, it's not even a joke. Come on, where's the connection between that word and bud? Where's the play on words here? It's not even a pun. And that's literally the lowest form of comedy. I mean, if you just want to do a pun, Samuel Adams' apple is right there. Come on, man. It's like you're not even trying. And I also want to differentiate him versus some of the other conservative comedians that I have covered on my channel. For example, Andrew Schultz, who I've covered in this video, actually opened for Ben Bankas one time and it was all caught in video. And the interaction was one of the most uncomfortable fly on the wall moments I've ever had.
Some woman from TikTok from America posted my video being like, do you think this is comedy? And it's me being like, I'm a real top. It's like, this is, and then like all these like 1,000 people like emailed every venue.
Does this guy look like he's having fun right now? Is this the body language of someone who wants to be here? This is the face of a grifter who just realized that he is now associated with someone who genuinely believed what he said. Ben Bankas, I mean, how else do I explain this? There are Kill Tony fans who are uncomfortable with Ben Bankas. Fucking Kill Tony fans. That's like making Darth Vader uncomfortable with how much you hate sand. I think we should hang out less. Dude, chill. You don't need to take it that seriously. I'm allowed to say that. I have a silica-based life form friend. A friend of a friend. A friend who said he knew one. I've been to Tatooine. I saw a picture of Tatooine.
Trump is not very popular in the international community. What community? A bunch of people going. That's who gives a what they think.
For the single Ben Bankas fan that's still here, and let's be honest, it's probably just Ben at this point, you may think that the faces I'm making and the things that I'm saying mean that I'm just getting super offended at your jokes. So, as a counterpoint, let me ask you this question. Would you get mad at a 4-year-old for saying dumb shit? No, absolutely not. They're a kid. They don't understand. You would treat this as an education opportunity. So this is a map of the world. Now, I know this might be hard for you to grasp. English, what I'm saying right now, didn't actually originate from this part of the world. It actually has its root from this country right here. England. English. England. Comprende? I'm sorry. Do you understand? And I know this may come as a shock to you, but there are other parts, specifically this region of the world, that speak English pretty damn well. A part of the world that isn't really happy with Trump, but I hope that cleared that one up for you.
What is a road? They don't, there's, we fucking.
So this is Egypt, you know, pyramids, the Nile, Cleopatra. And so this country, Egypt, is actually in Africa. I know this is kind of a niche factoid, but the first paved road was actually built in Egypt about 4,500 years ago. So I hope that finally cleared up everything for you.
Trump is not very popular in the international community. They wouldn't even have fucking, you know, anything if it wasn't for white people.
So this is Europe. Also, like, you seem to be talking a lot about white liberal women. Yeah, I'm sensing kind of a pattern here.
Like, white liberal women in America are like, colonialism is the most horrible thing on this planet.
That's my new favorite thing, watching woke white women try to stop ICE.
Like the woke chicks, that's all they care about. They're like, you know, Palestine and abortion.
Are you doing okay over there, liberal girl? Yeah. You hate this? You hate it? Yeah. Yeah, I know, because I can see your dumb face looking at me.
It kind of brings you back to, you know, elementary school, right? In 4th grade, I had this massive crush on this one girl. And, you know, like any, like, 10-year-old would, how does a 10-year-old boy handle those emotions? Well, obviously by bullying them. Well, I pulled her hair, I called her names. I basically, you know, sad to admit, I was kind of a menace to this girl. And I had a super big fucking crush on her. Anyways, I don't know, that was a total sidebar. I don't know why I included that part. Totally unrelated to the video. I think the one thing that actually really surprised me when I was doing my research for this video is that there is a totally different side of the internet that I was not privy to. If I were to see a video like this show up on my feed, I would, you know, probably expect the comments to absolutely bash the guy. And I'm not saying there weren't any comments that were absolutely bashing the guy, but the overwhelming majority of what was being said was all positive. And I guess I shouldn't be shocked because there are two different sides of the internet. I think it's just like, if you know the entire time it's there, but you've never experienced it, and now suddenly you are experiencing it in real time, you start to understand that why people like Ben Bankas, to put it nicely, are are so stubborn in their beliefs. Everyone that he's seeing on his feed and his comments are saying that, oh, you're the best. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't help me understand the actual comments themselves. Ben just speaks the truth and it's hilarious. So we've already established that both of those statements are objectively false. Dang, this dude's a genius. Again, I think we've just established that that is objectively false. Who else is funny as they are brave? This one really confused me. I'm sorry, he's brave for doing a conservative stand-up show in Mobile, Alabama, the same state where JFK had to mobilize the National Guard to officially desegregate the University of Alabama. And that's brave? That's like saying I'm brave for reading smut at Barnes and Noble. Motherfucker, that's everyone here. Except the one straight dude that's lost. A Court of Thrones and Roses. Oh, sick, the new Game of Thrones book is out. And just reading the comments, I came to this realization that was really funny to me. It's like his audience is made up of people who base their entire personality around owning the libs. Meanwhile, us libs are doing stuff like, I don't know, listening to actual good music, and honestly not even realizing that these group of people existed. I guess that's unfair though. You know, they probably do stuff other than owning the libs. Stuff like cutting their grass, feeding their dogs, wearing their boots. Yeah, that seems really hard to do right now in this liberal-ass country that is currently fully run by conservatives. But Red Like Sunshine, this is just stand-up. This is just a bit. This is a material. This isn't actually, you know, what he thinks, right? This is all just part of the act. It's just show business. In his own words, Ben Bankas does say, he sees people as equals and as fair game to be made fun of equally, especially for entertainment purposes. Okay, so with this quote in mind, maybe this isn't actually him. Maybe he actually holds, you know, genuine beliefs. Maybe he has some love and empathy for, you know, people in general. So how do we prove that? How do we find that out? What's the one place where a comedian goes to actually show their true colors and speak their truth? I hate to say it, but it's always like the answer's the same. A podcast.
The woke, you know, the women with the insane look in their eyes, and, you know, your instinct when you see a woke person is that person is mentally ill. If you're not mentally ill, and then people will defend, oh really? So you just think that anybody who's upset with the current situation is mentally ill? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do, because if you weren't mentally ill, you would see, number one, everything that's happening right now happened under every other president, and ICE has always existed. Obama did it, Bush did it.
I'll acknowledge that. It's true. More deportations happened under Obama than the Trump administration. The difference is Obama did follow the Constitution to do that. And for those of you saying, you know, why aren't you outraged at that? I was a kid. Dude, do you think I knew about politics back then as a sixth grader? I was barely hanging on to my grades, as is. I had other worries. Sorry, just had to interject there. I'm not completely biased, just a little.
Number two, people who have enough time to protest every single day, or who are willing to get paid by these Soroses and whoever else to protest, anybody who's doing that is mentally insane.
And anyone who believes that is also mentally fucking insane. I've said this many times. I live in San Francisco, somewhere where this guy would probably call a liberal hellhole. With all the woke people here, you know, there's a protest going on every day, right? No, I don't think I know a single person who literally just goes and protests every day. Like, we have rent to pay. We still have work to do. And, you know, being in SF, like, yes, there's a lot of liberal people here and I love it. But at the same time, they're all some of the hardest working people I know. SF is a city for grinders. Rent is minimum $2,500 a month. Do you really think people living in SF could live in SF if they didn't work their ass off every day? And also, like, were we supposed to get paid to protest? I paid $2.50 for the Muni to get to this protest. I didn't get the memo. Was I supposed to send an invoice to, I don't know, George Soros or something? Like, what? Did you guys get money? I didn't get money. And I think the funniest part about this whole thing is how he calls us, you know, he calls us the woke, not woke people. The woke. I think it really makes us seem a lot more intimidating than we actually are. And I love that. I respect that about him. They're here to take our penises. Peni? What's the plural of penis? My penar!
All women other than these are lawful for you, so the companions are being educated about these rulings.
I wish when I was a little boy I had somebody like that to look up to. You know, a man in a fucking ISIS turban, a Somalian guy in an ISIS turban talking about slave women. As Mark Carney said, Canadian values are Muslim values. And it's okay, but it's not every Muslim, but it's the majority. Am I wrong to say that? Is it a minority of Muslims that are like, I don't, like, this is the thing is, I'm not racist.
He's not racist, guys. Trust me. He's just generalizing a whole group of people based on what one person said. That's not racism. Unless you use the literal definition of racism and prejudice. Then he might be a little racist.
46-year-old Abdul Alim Faruqi, a father of 3, died after a home invasion in Vaughan on Sunday. I am outraged by this. And people will go, well, you know, are you a racist? Aren't you happy somebody, you know, it's not a white guy, so nobody cares. I care. It's happening. This happened in my former hometown, Toronto. And the white people, this is proof that the racism thing is all bull. Because the conservatives on the right, who the liberals call racist, are the only ones who care about this Abdul Alim Faruqi, because we assume this. No, there is racism doesn't exist.
As I was prepping for this video, I did go through and, you know, personally verify a lot of statistics and studies that disprove almost everything that came out of his mouth so far. And I didn't want to inundate this video with statistics because, you know, this video is for entertainment. And I'm not trying to host a statistics class right now. Look, I hate statistics, okay? I was struggling in my stats class. I got an A- in it, which is basically failing. But I will address this one. This man actually genuinely believes that he is not racist, and yet he puts out bits like this.
Well, what do you do for a living? I'm like, fucking nosy shit. Now I'm wishing she was one of the no hablo motherfuckers. But I was nice. I was like, oh, I'm a comedian. She's like, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from Canada. I'm here legally.
Why do you assume that just because they don't speak English that well, that they're not a US citizen? Or even, you know, that they're here, quote unquote, illegally? My dad is a full naturalized US citizen, and he's trying his best. Okay, he's trying his best. He's doing really good. He's trying to, can't really speak English that well. He's trying his best. The point I'm trying to make is this. The fundamental reason behind why he thinks people who can't really speak English that well are automatically undocumented migrants is racism. Basically, Ben Bankas, what you're doing here, because you clearly lack self-awareness, is that you are making assumptions about an entire group of people based on one Twitter post. Again, textbook definition. And yes, this is a tragedy, absolutely. But we have to be objective here, right? So let's be objective. A 2024 study conducted by the National Institute of Justice found that undocumented immigrants committed crimes at half the rate of US citizens. This rate stayed consistent throughout property, violent, and even just traffic violations. US citizens are proven to commit more crimes than undocumented immigrants. So let's bring it back to you, to the point you made. Why aren't liberals outraged at this? Why aren't you outraged that citizens are committing violent crimes at twice the rate of undocumented migrants? Undocumented migrants that you, by the way, think are super violent. There are so many other studies that also back this up that you can find with one fucking Google search, that immigrants, undocumented included, actually contribute to lower crime rates over time. So like, I don't understand this stance.
Look, I free up, obviously free up. She deserves to be freed, or what? I don't know if she's in jail. She deserves to. I mean, why does she want to be a nurse? Do something more interesting with your life. All these nursing unions, and if you do any job that's in one of these woke organizations, this is just going to happen now.
Is nursing now a woke profession? I'm sorry, so if you're a conservative and you get sick, you're just supposed to die? I was just like, what are these takes? I'm honestly baffled. I thought it would get a lot better and maybe more reasonable, and maybe we can have like an objective discussion of his viewpoints, but they're so stupid. I also have a suspicious feeling that him questioning the medical field is going to be a common theme here.
Acting surprised. Whoa, how could this be happening in my because it's been happening for over a decade and nobody said anything, and all the dumb women who are on birth control and have had their minds wiped are obsessed with only abortion and, you know, voting for transgenderism they're in control, and they're in control of the immigration, and they think immigration's great.
Holy right-wing word vomit, Jesus. I feel like I just got a live feed of OAN or fucking Fox News. It's like watching a sleeper agent get activated in real time.
And all the dumb women who are on birth control and have had
Kill John Lennon.
Are obsessed
Kill
with
John Lennon.
Like COVID, like we just pretend it was the worst. It was so bad. It's like, yeah, it was bad because you put everybody on a ventilator and it fucking killed all those old people. Because that wasn't the way to treat it, and they knew that, and they did it on purpose to inflate the numbers so that they could use it as a way to increase the police state and all this shit.
So I'm well aware of the statistics that he's actually trying to bring up. Again, he's cherry picking these, but I'm cherry picking these clips. So, you know, fair is fair, game is game. This just demonstrates a fundamental misunderstanding of data and how to interpret it and how to look at it contextually. Yes, people who are on ventilators saw pretty high mortality rates. That doesn't mean ventilators don't work. There's something in the medical field called triage. The most sick people are put on the ventilators. If someone was put on a ventilator during COVID, that already means they had a very, very high chance of mortality. So yes, the statistics are gonna skew that people put on ventilators probably had a higher mortality rate. That doesn't mean COVID wasn't serious. COVID killed 25 to 35 million people. The last time that many people died in such a short time span, we called it World War II. And on that very grim note, did you know that if someone is undergoing CPR, they already only have a 10 to 20% chance to live? You don't see people going around saying CPR doesn't work. So you're saying if I had to perform CPR when I was a lifeguard, that instead of doing that, I just look at the kid and just be like, sorry, this is actually just all a government plot and government conspiracy to cover up the numbers and raise COVID numbers. I was a lifeguard in 2017. COVID wasn't even a thing yet. Wait, I'm remembering something. Did he say that he's from Toronto?
This happened in my former hometown, Toronto. And
hold on, I gotta check something real quick. Hold on. I gotta scroll through his Instagram real quick. I think I remember it. Where is it? There. He's a Blue Jays fan. Ben, we've already established that you hate immigrants, right? You don't even have to say that you just hate the undocumented. Like, you hate all of them. That, I think, is pretty clear. So, Ben, for someone... Sorry, I'm so excited about this part. So, Ben, for someone who hates immigrants, how does it feel to have your baseball team's first world title in 32 years be stolen by the Dodgers, a team that's basically made up of superstar immigrants? Let's run down the list, shall we? Roki Sasaki, who threw a 103-mile-per-hour fastball in high school, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who gave up 0 runs in Game 7 of the World Series after almost pitching a full game the night before. Both from Japan. Miguel Rojas, who tied Game 7 at the top of the 9th with the most clutch home run I have ever seen in my life. Born in Venezuela, Kike Hernandez, probably one of the most clutch utility players on the Dodgers and just overall really cool guy. Puerto Rican. I'm not done. Teoscar Hernandez from the Dominican Republic. Andy Pajes from Cuba. Hae-Son Kim from South Korea. And Will Smith is from Louisville, Kentucky. Louis? Motherfucker's French. And last and certainly not least, the GOAT, the legend, the player who in Game 4, the Blue Jays were so scared to pitch to, tied a record for the most amount of walks had in a postseason game, and still went 4 for 4 with 2 home runs. Put some goddamn respect on the name Shohei Showtime Motherfucker Ohtani. And why am I only talking about the Dodgers? Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is objectively your best player on the Blue Jays, and he was born into a Dominican immigrant family and basically spent his life in the Dominican Republic from when he was in diapers all the way to when he went pro. And the funny thing is, he's the only one on your roster who isn't a fucking immigrant. What can I say? Immigrants, we get the job done. Look, And I'm assuming that even Ben stopped watching after that segment. If you feel offended by his rhetoric, his messaging, or, and I'm gonna use this term very wokely, jokes, that's okay. It's okay to feel emotion. That is a normal human reaction, especially anger when it comes to, you know, guys like this. But in my honest opinion, you shouldn't. If someone tells you to your face that you eat too many garbanzo beans when you know for a fact that your last 30 Chipotle lunch orders had pinto beans in them, would you get offended? No, of course not. You would be wondering why Jeff from corporate cares what type of beans you're eating at lunch. And it's the same thing here. Good comedy has subtext, and subtext has to be based on at least a modicum of truth. And everything he's saying here is demonstrably false. So why should you get offended at that? And yes, actually, this does go both ways. In Ben's own words, grown adults in a free and open society should not be told what they can and can't find funny. I agree with that statement. People have freedom of speech, and I am in no position, and I'm really not here, to tell you guys or anyone else who's watching this that you're not allowed to find this funny. All I'm saying is, it is a free country. Some people like eating buttery lobsters and juicy steak, and some people just like eating It's just a matter of taste. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. I'm going to listen to some woke liberal agenda music. I mean, actual good music. I hope you all have a beautiful, wonderful day. Yes, even you, Ben, even you. But like, you know, I mean mostly everyone else. And again, thank you for watching. Okay, bye.